Oh, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Foundation Series webinar. The Foundation Series is a new family of product we're excited to see launch and are looking forward to sharing some information with you here today. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. This call is being recorded for future use. By being on this call, you are consenting to being recorded. Number two, we will have a question and answer session towards the end of the call. Please submit your questions in the Q&A feature and we will go through them in order at that time. Number three, your presenters today will be Chris Malatek, who will share a message from sales. From product management, we have Peter Ebersold and Pete Nadeau, who will walk you through the details of the Foundation Series. And I'm Eddie Vega, the marketing lead for Autocall. Now I'm going to pass it over to Chris for a message from sales.
Great, thanks Eddie, and welcome again Autocall partners to the Foundation Series webinar. For those of you I've not met or recently new to our partner network, my name is Chris Malatek, and I am the National Sales Manager for Autocall in North America. What you'll see with this launch is many webinars before we release it on January 13th. And we're really excited about this time, and it's for everybody. You know, you, the partner, Autocall sales support team, products team, JCI, because we now have a tier 3 offering that is competitively priced and it's easy to use. So in this presentation, we'll introduce you to all facets of the product line, the target customers, project size, our marketing plan to help you, training and tech support that will help implement this offering into your business plan. We are releasing this only to authorized Autocall dealers. Some partners may add this to their arsenal, some may not. We also plan on seeing Foundation-only partners. Some may take large stock in this line, carry it on their trucks, have it available in their shop, and others may be a pass-through and sell the parts to electrical contractors, other integrators, maybe end users. You'll see that this is an open system. They can take the training themselves and do the installations and programming. Two things I do want to note. Those that you're selling to will not be able to call our tech support because they're not an Autocall partner. So in some cases, you will have to be a subject matter expert. Obviously, they can reach out to you. You can call our tech support line, but they won't have a direct link to our tech support. And the second one is that this is not a replacement of the 4007. We wanted to develop a competitive product for that tier 3 market space, but we also don't want to lose share in that 4007 opportunities. And lastly, with regards to pricing, we're just finalizing a couple part numbers, and we'll send out the update through the price book on the website, as well as updating Solution Navigator. So thank you again for taking this time, and we look forward to a successful launch.
All right. Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Ebersold. I am one of the product managers with Autocall based in Westford, Massachusetts. And myself and my colleague Pete Nadeau will be taking you through all of the details of the Foundation Series. So thanks for joining, and let's get going. So Foundation is a new family of addressable and conventional panels in the tier 3 market space, as Chris mentioned. So that's smaller projects that Autocall is not competing in today. And we've got a full offering. Not only is this an introduction of the panels, but we've also got new initiating devices and accessories, as well as full connectivity. So let's get started. Next slide, please. So on the left, we've got a group photo of the new Foundation panels, and you'll hear a lot more detail about those very shortly. And on the right, we've got our existing ES panel family. So as Chris mentioned, this is not intended, Foundation is not intended to replace any of the ES panels, but merely get us into a new market space where the features of the ES panels were either, overkill for that particular market project rather, or we weren't price competitive because of, again, those features that we have on those ES panels. Worth noting in the beginning is the Foundation Series is not networkable, so it cannot be connected to an existing ESNet network that the ES panels are on, and it is really designed for smaller scale, simpler projects, which will become, I think, more obvious as we go through the features. Next slide, please. So Foundation Series is really engineered for the Tier 3 market. It's very simple to set up. It's easy to learn. In fact, there's no classroom training required for it. It is very intuitive, we think, as well as we've worked through this, and it really gives you access to new markets for your dealership. So new opportunities that you're probably addressing today with competitive product, but again, you're going to hear about some features that we think make Foundation a much better choice than what you might be using today. Next slide, please. So now I'll turn it over to my colleague, Pete Nato, who's going to talk to you about some of the details regarding the 4 new Foundation panels. Take it away, Pete.
Thank you, Peter. Very excited to present today. The first model is the conventional A004FS, and the features, it features 4 zones of conventional Class B initiating device circuits, and each circuit supports up to 20 devices. It has 1 conventional synchronized notification appliance circuit at 1.5 amps that can be wired Class A or Class B. The display is LED only, programmed through an integrated dip switch with the DACT and the time and date through a PC tool, and we'll be discussing that a little later. So we do have an onboard dual conventional DACT, a digital alarm communication transmitter, and that is for communication to central station. It also supports up to 2 LED annunciators and has 2 battery cabinet built in for up to 7 amp hours. And then if you need above that, for 12.7 amp hours, we do offer an external cabinet. Next slide, please. And now we move on to the A008FS. This, a little more powerful now, offers 8 zones of conventional initiating device circuits. So that can be 8 Class Bs or 4 Class As. And it supports up to 30 devices on each circuit now. So again, a little bit bigger than the A004. So we have now 2 conventional notification appliance circuits, Class A or Class B, an LCD display, and now programming, you can use our PC tool. So we do offer a PC programming tool to program the unit. It can also be programmed through the front panel. Onboard DACT, dual DACT, and also this can now support 4 LCD annunciators, remote annunciators. As far as battery capacity, again, we have the 2 7 amp hours in the cabinet itself, and then up to 25 amp hours in a external cabinet. Next slide, please. So now we have our addressable offerings, the A050 and the A250. The A050 offers 50 addressable device capacity with 2 synchronized conventional notification appliance circuits, whereas the A250, a little bit larger, offers 250 addressable device capacity with 4 synchronized conventional notification appliance circuits. Now, both models have LCD display with 8 programmable LEDs. They support an MX loop that is built into the panel. You can now program this through a mobile device. We're going to talk about this, very exciting. You can program the addressable panels using a phone app. You can also use the user interface, and you can use the PC tool. So we have 3 different ways to program these panels, whatever is easiest for you. We do offer an optional gateway, and it has IP or POTS, and in the future we will have cellular. The addressable panels support up to 8 remote LCD annunciators. Next slide, please. So we have our optional hardware, and here's the external battery cabinet that I had mentioned. We also have the connected services gateway module. Again, that is for the addressable models. The conventional panels have a built-in DACT, a Circuit City module for North America, and then at the bottom we have our A004 LED annunciator and then the LCD annunciator for the remaining models. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to hand it back to Peter Ebersole for conventional initiating devices.
All right, thanks, Pete. So we are also launching a new line of intelligent conventional detectors with the Foundation series. So these are products that we've been selling in Europe for a little bit, but now we're introducing them here in North America. They are UL 268 7th edition listed. They do have built-in drift compensation powered by the microprocessor that's in the head. And there are three types of detectors you want to look at that. We've got two optical detectors. So we've got a photo only and we've got a photo with heat. There are two fixed heat detectors, a 135 and a 200 Fahrenheit. And then two rate of rise heat detectors, also 135 and 200. And all the heat detectors are listed to UL 521. And then there are two new bases for these intelligent conventional detectors, a 4-inch and a 5-inch. And there's also an optional 6-inch adapter / trim ring for those applications where, the drywall maybe isn't as neat as it should be. So you can use that 6-inch adapter to kind of cover the gap there. Next slide, please. And as Pete mentioned, we've got an MX SLC on the Foundation addressable panels. So again, this is a new technology to North America. We've been selling MX devices in Europe and in the Middle East for some time. And for Foundation, they're a nice fit for the product line. So we're introducing them here. So these are not at all compatible with IDNet 2 devices. And you'll see why pretty quickly, I think. So first thing is you can address them using a dip switch, which is in the sensor head. So the bases are, and which we'll see a picture of in a second, are basically just plastic rings with terminals on them. And there's three different ways to do soft addressing. You can do this with the PC programmer that goes along with the Foundation panels. You can do it on the front panel for the two addressable panels, or we have a new digital enrollment mobile app that runs on a smartphone, both for Android and for iOS. And we'll show you a little more detail about that shortly. So for MX, we've got four devices here. We've got a triple sensor that combines heat, photo, and CO. We've got a photo and heat, a photo only, and a heat only. Next slide, please. And then for bases, we've got a 4-inch base, we've got a 5-inch base, and then there's that 6-inch adapter, again, if you've got a little bit of an extra gap. And it also allows you to do an installation on a 4-inch square box as well as an octagonal back box. These use the existing remote LED alarm indicator that you're already purchasing with the ES panels. You can use it with the MX devices as well. And these MX detectors have a nice feature. If you look on the 4-inch standard base, down on the lower side of it, there's a little tab sticking out of the bottom there. You can actually push that tab, and what that'll let you do is basically disconnect the detector from the circuit, but it still remains mounted in the base. So if you've got to do some kind of maintenance on the SLC and want to take that detector out of the circuit, you could do that readily without having to physically take them out of the base and then potentially mixing them up. So a nice feature on the maintenance side with MX devices. Next slide, please. Next slide. So to support the initiating detectors, we've also got a mini IM, a relay IM. There's a single action pull station. We've got a double action pull station with break glass, and we don't show it here, but we've also got a double action pull station without break glass. So these are all, again, compatible with the MX line for use on the Foundation products. And We are very close to releasing a monitor ZAM, so you can pick up existing conventional circuits. We probably will have that ready by launch. If not, it'll be ready shortly afterwards. That was held up a little bit because of UL delays. And then coming later in 2023, we're going to have a dual input IM module as well. And same as with the photo detectors, you can program them 3 different ways. And for the modules and the pull stations, the dip switch is actually on the device. Next slide, please. All right, next slide, please. So for notification devices for Foundation, you can use the existing True Alert non-addressable devices that you're using with the ES panels. So as you're well aware, you've got a full line of devices. All are compatible with Foundation and work without any issues. Next slide, please. So now I'd like to turn it back over to Pete, and he's going to talk about how you program the panels.
Thank you, Peter. So we have the A004 programming. This is very simple because it's a simple panel. Primarily, this is set up through dip switches on the front panel. And you can see the dip switches have various functions, for the set up circuits, the fire. You have your notification configuration. You have different features that you can set up with those particular dip switches. And really, you only need a PC when you want to set the date and time on the system and also to enable or disable the communication, the DACT. So really, you can do most of the work right there on the panel very simply with switches. Next slide, please. So now we get into the A008, which now you have the ability to program on PC and through the front panel. So with the PC, you can do a full configuration with the available PC programmer. You can upload and download logs and history, enable or disable the communications, firmware upgrade, battery calculation, and time format. All the things you need to set up can be done easily in the available PC programmer. Next slide, please. And of course, you don't have to use a PC. You can use the front panel, and we have an auto program feature that's very convenient that allows you to automatically add all the devices and have basic options already set up through the auto programming. And then of course, you do have the versatility to change the initiating device circuits and functions on the notification appliance circuits. You have the ability to set up the DACT and also other system options like what wiring you wish to use, depleted battery, zones, and those things all can be done right on the front of the panel. Next slide, please. So now we're getting into the addressable panel programming, and here's where things really get exciting. Now we have a digital, go back one slide, please. We have, and one more, please. We have the digital enrollment mobile app, and this is really innovative. And it's the preferred method to set up your panel. You can download a configuration file that you can set up on your phone. So we have an iPhone app and an Android app that allows you to scan the different detectors, and all the detectors and the pull stations have little QR codes that you scan, and the information, serial number, everything gets loaded into the phone, and then it's very simple to use. And then you can export that using an NFC technology on your phone and on the panel. So we have a little area where you put the phone, you place it, and then you can upload the config file. You don't have to use anything else. You have just your phone. So next slide, please. We also have the addressable PC programmer. So if you're used to that method and want to do that, we have the PC programmer that has all the features needed. So we can download and upload configuration files. An added note, you can actually take the configuration file from your phone, put it in the PC programmer, and upload it. You can upload history logs, upgrade firmware, set up all your devices, notification, appliance circuits, annunciators, gateways, built-in battery calculations, and then file transfers on the built-in USB. So this is very convenient and has all the features you need to easily set up the panel. Next slide, please. Excuse me. And of course, you can easily program the panel on the front panel itself. So it has an auto-enrolling feature that can auto-enroll, auto-address, and map the devices for you with a push of a button. So it's very simple. If you don't wish to use the app, or if you don't wish to use the PC programmer, you can now have a third method, just do it right on the panel. As you can see, you have access to all the features, all the devices, the zones, your outputs, gateway, you have USB capability, you have your system logins and logouts, and then of course device mapping and the very important NFC, so you can upload a configuration if you wish. Very simple to use, so it's a quick install. Next slide, please. And now we move back to Peter Ebersol for our use cases.
All right, thanks, Pete, for the overview on programming. So, what we call the tier 3 market is smaller installations. So, these are not hard and fast rules, but we think buildings 4 stories or less than 25,000 square feet. The end customers, landlord or business owner, there's typically no fire protection engineer involved in these systems. The decision maker is the electrical contractor. So as you well know, they're doing, the lighting for the building, they're doing the security system, and they're going to do the fire alarm system as well. So they want high quality. They want it to be very easy to install, definitely off the shelf, and cost effective in the sense that most of the installations in the tier 3 market really are just, I want to be code compliant so I get my certificate of occupancy, nothing beyond that. So Foundation is well targeted at that market. Next slide, please. So our first example here would be a pad site or an out parcel. We've all seen these, the Starbucks, the PF Chang's, the Applebee's out in the parking lot of a bigger shopping center. If it's got a restaurant system, it's got its own suppression system. And important to note here, Foundation does not do releasing. So if releasing is required, it would have to be a standalone system that you could monitor with one of the Foundation panels. Next slide, please. Second example of a typical application is a shopping center or strip mall. A number of stores arranged in a row, broken up into space of a few hundred to a few thousand square feet for individual tenants. Depending on the size of the plaza or the strip mall, it could be just a conventional system, very basic, or for a larger application, one of the addressable panels would fit the bill here. Next slide, please. Or small office building, multiple tenants, medical office building, small firms in a shared space, etc. Most likely the addressable panels would be the better choice here because you can label the initiating devices to indicate where they're located. Next slide, please. So to wrap up, next slide. So for salespeople, now you've got an Autocall offering for smaller projects, very cost effective. For the technicians, it's easy to learn. There are no classroom training required for this. There's a number of videos that you'll have access to that will explain how to install it, how to configure it, how to set it up. And if somebody needs a refresher, the videos are broken up so that, if you want to know how to put a city circuit module in, for example, you watch a 3 or 4 minute video and you're ready to go. We've got a programming tool specific for the Foundation panels that makes setup very easy. And for your customers, they're getting the Autocall name and quality on the wall of their building with the protection that they expect from a brand like Autocall. Next slide, please. So I'm going to turn it back over to Pete, and he's going to talk a little bit about training.
Thank you. So training, as Peter mentioned, very easy. You watch some videos, possibly reference an instruction guide, and you really have everything you need to set up the panel. As an added bonus, if you use the app, meaning the digital enrollment app that I discussed, you can access those videos through the help menu on your phone, which is really neat. So we do have video training for field sales and technicians, so we can give you an overview of the marketplace, panels, and also the configuration of the unit's notification appliances, sensors, and annunciators. Next slide, please. Additionally, we have the battle card. So you'll have some competitive information that'll help, and it's a great sales tool to help you understand, the differences or similarities between competitive products, so you can go out and win the socket, I say. So we also have various guides and manuals to help you set up these. If you have a detailed question, we have the guides all ready to help you set up the system and answer questions. Next slide, please. So our path to training. Our videos are available on our ULearn system. And we also have an optional certification available. Again, this is when you watch all the videos and you can get optionally certified. You don't have to attend a class in person. So we also have technician training, and we can share certain videos with contractors if needed. And also we're working on translations to various languages. And then I'm going to move now back to Peter to talk about foundation resources.
All right, thanks, Pete. So next slide, please. So to start off, we've got a wide variety of marketing materials to support this. There is a unique Autocall Foundation Series brochure that's available. We've got a number of infographics. We've got a full product line catalog dedicated just to Foundation. So again, you're not going to be necessarily talking to the same audience that you would for an ES panel. So we decided to do a separate product catalog for this. And then there are sales presentations that are available. There's a video you can show customers. And as Pete mentioned, we've got competitive battle cards. So if you're going up against the Firelight Silent Knights and Edwards of the world, you'll have the information there to help you better sell why Foundation is the choice. Next slide, please. And the next 15 or so slides are basically part numbers and document numbers for all of the material that's available to support the Foundation panel. So here we've got the PIDs for the conventional panels, as well as the annunciators, the external battery cabinet. Next slide, please. And then the two addressable panels, the A50 and the A250. City circuit module for those addressable panels, LCD annunciator, and again, external battery cabinet. And we've also got a semi-flush trim kit for that. Next slide, please. And then the new intelligent conventional devices, the photo heat, and the various heat onlys, the bases, got a couple relay bases, and we've got two duct detectors, a 2-wire and a 4-wire that are coming shortly. Those are in UL right now. Next slide, please. And then the MX devices, we've got the triple sensor, the photo heat CO, the photo CO, the photo only. We've got a heat sensor, the 3 base options. There's a loop-powered sounder base, along with 2 adapters for that. And I want to point out that the loop-powered sounder base, we can't use that for sleeping rooms at this time. We are working on a solution for a 520 hertz sounder base that will probably be out later in 2023. But in the interim, we do offer it's an 85 dB at 10 feet sounder base for Foundation. Next slide, please. And again, the modules for MX, the mini IM, the relay, the monitor ZAM. Again, the dual input module is coming. And then, various box mounting options, trim plates, etc., to support these as well. Next slide, please. And then we've got the pull stations, a variety of mounting options as well for those. Next slide, please. And then for the addressable panels, you are required to buy a connected services gateway if you're going to do central station communication. The two conventional panels, as Pete mentioned, have built-in DACs. The addressable panels do not. You can do, you can do IP, you can do POTS, or you can do cell with this gateway module. And there are 3 different antenna extension kits, the same ones that you use with the 4007 panel will work on foundation. Next slide, please. And then, of course, we have data sheets for the panels as well as for the MX devices and the accessories, along with the connected services gateway. Next slide, please. And then installation, programming, operation manuals for all of the panels as well. Next slide, please. And then detailed manuals for some of the modules, the new MX modules. Next slide, please. All right, that's it for the end. That's it for the formal presentation. We can open it up for some Q&A now, and I know there's some questions there. If Aaron or Eddie, you want to read them, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Thank you, Peter, Pete, and Chris. Excited for this launch. Just a reminder for the attendees, if you want to submit questions, if you have any, please go ahead and submit them in the Q&A function, and we'll go ahead and get through them. So to the group, the first question I have here is, will the 4006 conventional panel be discontinued?
So I'll take that one. So we have discussed obsoleting the 4006. There is no current plan to do so. If that was to happen, my expectation is that would be probably 18 to 24 months from now. But again, no decision has been made either way at this time.
Great. The next question I have is, what sync protocol do you support on the conventional panels?
All right, I'll take that one. So we only support the Autocall Smart Sync. These are not listed, and no sync is available for Edwards or Gentex or anyone else.
All right. The next question here is, or it might be more of a comment, but it's, do you realize that as soon as you have a cell phone communicator attached to the panel, the battery will be over 7 amp hours. So each panel will have to basically have an external battery if the dealer chooses to use an FACP powered cell phone communicators like most dealers use. Guess it's more of a comment, but I didn't want to respond.
Yes, we are aware of that, which is again why we're offering that external battery cabinet.
All right, next on here, will these panels support any other sync protocols such as wheel lock or system sensor?
You would have to use their sync module triggered by our NAC circuit to do that.
If a building expands and we have a foundation series in place, will there be a card with the MX protocol for 4007, 4010, or 4100 to upgrade?
The answer to that is no.
Okay. On the 24-volt auxiliary power, what is the amperage output?
Oh, can I take this one, Peter? It's
yes,
it's 1 amp
absolutely.
per. Yeah, it's 1 amp per for the 24-volt aux.
Awesome. Our next question that I have is, are there monthly fees for the gateway, or is it a one-time purchase?
the card itself is a one-time purchase. I am not aware of what is being done for fees for the ES panels. I don't know, Chris or Eric, if you want to take that.
Yeah, Peter, we're still looking at that. I believe we're going to offer for the first year a free base service, and then years two, we'll see what that will be.
All right. The next question I have here is it possible that this panel could be listed to use with a Potter QRS accelerator or Tyco Visor accelerator? Also, does this panel have any sort of programmable release sequencing?
Yeah, this panel does not support releasing. That's something that we may do in the future, but there's currently no active plans to do so.
Will there be local distribution warehouses where dealers can pick up parts in the larger cities?
I'll take that, Eddie. So all distribution will be through Autocall dealers. So we don't have any plans for a large warehouse where you can pick that up. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is only being released through authorized Autocall partners.
Cool. Next question is, how will we get temporal 4 for the CO?
Yeah, we've had that question, and we're working with our R&D team to get the answer for that. So I don't have an answer right away, but we are going to do a FAQ guide that we'll send out after this. So we'll include that in that FAQ guide.
Okay. Thank you. Next question is, with the commitment to conventional notification, is there plans to update ceiling AVs?
There is a project to revise the conventional notification line, which is separate from the foundation launch. So there will be a solution, but at this time I don't have a date when that's going to happen.
When will the cost of these panels be released?
Shortly. We're just finalizing a couple PIDs, and then we'll publish it on the website for the partners.
Cool. Will the ES modules work with the Foundation series?
MX and IDNet 2 are not compatible.
And I guess the next one here, can you explain MX addressable detection? How is it different from IDNet? And then are data sheets available now? It's kind of oddly worded, but.
Yeah, no, well, data sheets will be released when the product goes live in mid-January. And the big difference between MX and IDNet, without going into excruciating detail, is that MX is less sophisticated than IDNet 2 devices. So, a lot of the custom control, for example, that you can do with IDNet 2, setting different sensitivity levels, etc. MX does not have that. And that was very purposeful to make Foundation easier to use, as well as truthfully to make the MX devices less expensive than IDNet 2 devices. So, again, MX device is fully UL compliant, no question there. Just you're not going to have a lot of the features that you have in IDNet 2 with MX.
Are system sensor 2WB detectors listed with the conventional panels?
There is a 2-wire compatibility chart that is with UL now for final approval, and there's a wide range of devices on there that would be compatible with the Foundation panels, and the 2WB is actually on there, yes.
Do any of the panels have auxiliary power outputs?
Yes, we have aux on all of the panels.
And then what is the length for SLC loop Go Class A?
I believe it's 5,000 feet, but we'll confirm that and put it in the FAQ document.
All right. That's all the, wait, I got another one that keep coming in. Let's see. The addressable programmer will allow you to select a NAC circuit as temporal 4 for CO? Or is that more of a, I don't know, that's more of a statement. Or...
Again, we'll have to confirm temp 4 operation on these panels.
Got it. All right. Those are all the questions. I did get one about who is the strongest and tallest ASM on the Autocall team. I guess I wanted to leave that one for last just to be funny. But those are all the questions I received. Is there any other questions from the group? All right, I got a new one that came in. Let's see, will panel be smart enough to program elevator functions such as recall, etc.?
We are to do elevator operation, we're going to sell a space age module, and we are working right now putting an application note together that's going to explain the detail about that. So that app note will be ready for launch.
All right. Well, that's the last submitted question that I received. Are there any others from the attendees? All right. If there aren't any, I mean that's fine. We are going to share out this video as well, or this recording, and we will be including this topic in an upcoming fire talk. So there'll be more opportunities to also ask questions and learn more about the product. We did get another question in, so I'm gonna that one. You mentioned the smoke detector has a tab that can be pulled out to remove it from the SLC for service. Is the tab supervised? What happens if the technician forgets to reset the tab?
If you forget to reset the tab, you'll get a missing device trouble.
Well, that's the last question we received. Like I was stating, we will be sharing this video as well as having future discussions on fire talks that will be scheduled in the new year. Are there any other final words from the group prior to ending the webinar? All right. Well. Thank you to everybody. We're really excited about the launch of this product. I know for some it's been a while in coming, and I think we're really excited to be able to bring this news to you, and we'll have further conversations going forward. So thank you very much. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and really appreciate the time. Thanks. Goodbye.